Kentucky. He began working in Henderson in June of 1999 at an entry-level position in Gibbs Die Casting. He relocated permanently to Henderson in 2003. Brad graduated with a bachelor's degree in accounting and finance from the University of Southern Indiana. He left Gibbs Die Casting after having been promoted up 5 different departments in 2006 and began his Staten Investment Management business in downtown Henderson. Brad is a past school board member, city commissioner, and mayor pro temp. He is a graduate of the Henderson Leadership Initiative, a founding member of the Rotary Colonels to College Scholarship Program. He has a very diverse background, which includes graduating from the Delphi Lean Manufacturing College and the, is it Shannon Master Problem-Solving Discipline. He is also a Rotarian of the Year and received the Service Above Self Award. He has advanced to an American Private Enterprise Systems Conference competition nationally. Along with his wife, Christy, Brad is a proud parent to 2 amazing children, and he would love nothing more than to work alongside so many other caring Hendersonians to continue to improve upon a great city in hopes that one day his children will stay in our hometown. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Brad Staten. Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate you, Mayor.
All right, so I didn't write the introduction, and I don't know where you got all the information. It was all true, but I almost had to start playing bluegrass music just for the introduction. So welcome to the State of the City and State of the County. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I gave an answer last week at an event in Evansville when they asked us how our city is doing, and I realized that that is a very accurate description of what our current state of our city is. We have, this year and on into the future, a year or two, we are going to be adding more jobs than at any point in time this millennium for the city of Henderson. This year and on into the next few years, there will be more investment in infrastructure in Henderson, Kentucky than at any point in the history of our city. We are currently investing more money in significant quality of life projects than we ever have. Our downtown has seen a significant resurgence. If you came here in 2015, you would have seen an occupancy rate in our small businesses in downtown of somewhere in the 60% range. Today, you're going to see that somewhere in the upper 80s to lower 90s. We have had more housing starts and will continue to have more housing starts than at any point in time in the 2000s. Over the last 7 years, we've nearly tripled our reserves, while at the same time, over that time period, we've cut our city property tax rate by over 23%. Right now in Henderson, and I'm going to do this analogy again just for my daughter because she's such a big fan, we're like a snowball rolling down a hill, only we're a really big snowball, and it's a really, really big hill. And so that's the state of our city and where we are at now. I'd like to give a little presentation on the dreamers who make that happen. So Henderson is a place where dreams can come true. And it's not just a mayor or a city government that makes that happen. You know, a lot of our job is just to enable our dreamers and our investors in our community. But there are a few people that I would like to recognize. And first off, I'd like to recognize the members of our city commission. If you would please stand. We have Commissioner Kelsey Hargis, Commissioner Rodney Thomas, Commissioner Nick Witt, Commissioner Robert Pruitt. These 4 people, along with myself, form your Board of Commissioners. Please give them a big round of applause. If you see us on TV at our meetings, it's very natural to think that that might be the only thing that we do for the city, and it is certainly not. Every single commissioner is very involved in a lot of different projects and a lot of different decisions, and on a daily basis, working to make this city of Henderson a better place. Obviously, without our staff at the city, we could not do anything. And so right now, if you are an employee at the city of Henderson, please stand to be recognized. Thank you. These people, along with our utility partners, are just fantastic to work with. And it makes our job as elected officials so much easier because a lot of our job is to listen to you to take your concerns or your ideas or your suggestions and help you along through the process so that we can make our city better together. And with these people who work at our city, it makes our job so much easier. They do such a great job. And I'll talk a little bit more about staffing on the next slide when we get to it. And then for me personally, I have my wife and my daughter and my son and my mother here. And I just, if you would, give them a round of applause. So with me having two jobs, I'm a financial advisor by trade and still have a practice, and then I'm also the mayor of Henderson at the same time. It requires a lot of me. I'm not going to lie. And without a support network of some very important people at home and some very important mothering who now lives in Henderson as of a couple of years ago, I would not be able to lend myself to the city to work with you to make this city better. Now I want to talk about a dream of sustained leadership. So we have had a period of time in Henderson at the city of Henderson with our employment that over the last few years we've had just so many different retirements, and we've welcomed or shifting of personnel. And so we've welcomed a lot of people over the last few years into a lot of very important positions. We have a new HR manager as of maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, Megan McElfresh. We have a new finance director, Chelsea Mills. We've got a new fire chief, Josh Dixon, a new deputy fire chief, Chad Moore, new police chief, Billy Boland, a new deputy police chief, Bob Schultz, a new city clerk, Jessa Brandon, a new public relations director, Holly Blanford, a new Parks and Recs director as of like a week or two ago, Thomas Kinney, a new project management team consisting of Jenna Basham, Jeannie Quattrochi, and Brescia Pruitt. We have a new assistant city manager who is not new to the city of Henderson, but certainly new to that position, and his name is Buzzy Newman. And we have a new city manager who is not new to the city of Henderson. His name is Dylan Ward. If you would, please give all of those great leaders a big round of applause. Honestly, you all are in such great positions and doing such a great job. It's really nice to watch everyone grow together as a team. It really is. I do want to say a word or two about our city manager and assistant city manager team. So Buzzy, of course, was city manager for the city of Henderson for the longest time. And he's been in city employment forever. And as we were going through the city manager hiring process, as soon as we hired someone and we promoted our assistant city manager, Dylan, to that position, Buzzy agreed to stay on as assistant city manager. So that would give Dylan a period of time to learn from the top, which is very, very important. When you look at Dylan, a lot of people see a baby face, right? A young man, and you automatically assume that because he's young, he may not have the chops to do this job. I've read a comment or two on Facebook. Oh, he's a nice man, but then whatever it is, right? But Dylan actually has 11 years experience at the city and some very important positions. He was a public works engineer. He was a project manager for a period of time. He was assistant city manager for a period of time. He's got credentials out the wazoo. If I were to give him an introduction, it'd been longer than the one Corey gave me. But he is going to do a fantastic job for us, and it's nice to be in a position but still have that support network there. So we're looking forward to seeing what our leadership team can do on into the future. So now I'm going to hit some rapid fire infrastructure notes, and bear with me. If I could be anybody right now, I don't know if a lot of you are even old enough to know who this guy is, but I would turn myself into the Micro Machines guy who talked really, really fast. But I'm going to give you some quick hitters on infrastructure. We've got a lot going on. Starting with HWU, we've got a water project that is significant to the city that's occurring in our inner city area. They are finishing up on Alvesia. Paving is to come right after. Starting next week, they're going to start on Washington Street. That is going to be an inconvenience for about 2 to 3 months because it is a major throughput street in that area. Their project that they are doing, though, is a very important one to the inner city. It's one that's going to provide volume stability and more pressure to the citizens all around that area in a certain radius. It's very important that it's being done. It's just going to require a little patience. Also, in addition to that, they're going to start the 5th phase of the Country View Flooding and Draining Project this year. That should start here in a month or two, and that's going to start over on Gregory Drive. This will be the 5th time they've been out in the Country View area making improvements to the flooding and drainage in that area. And with the exception of when we get 2 inches of rain in a 10 or 20-minute period of time and we have flash flooding everywhere, it's doing a really good job. And the people out there are very appreciative of the work that you guys are doing. One thing that we have asked of the water utility is that in light of the recent flash flooding that we've had, that we capture as much data as humanly possible, because these events don't happen very often. Some of them would cost millions and millions of dollars to fix, and we're not going to be able to tackle everything, but at least we need to capture the data to know if there is anything that we can work on to alleviate some of this flash flooding issues in the future, that we capture that data and take a good hard look at it. HMP&L, they've got fiber rollout, in case you haven't heard. Fiber internet is almost complete for every single resident in their territory. And so for HMP&L, for fiber rollout, if you want reliable internet and you don't want to pay a whole lot of money and you don't want to see price increases in the future, they're offering 1 gig of speed for $79.95 a month. I can't commit to this or commit them to this, but I would venture to say that price isn't going to change for a long time. Also, I was made aware, I didn't realize this, if you need a home phone for any reason, if you have a 15 and a 10-year-old kid who stay at home sometimes and want a home phone for security, $14.95 a month as a result of that plan. And so if you're looking for a new internet provider, that's a good one to look into. Also, something that we've asked of our utility, our HMP&L utility, and something they're already doing, is to take a significant look at the reliability of electricity delivery on our north end of town. We've got a lot of folks this year, and in the wake of an ice storm where we have weak branches on trees, seems like every time we have a 20-mile-an-hour wind, some neighborhoods are losing power. And it's not at an acceptable level for the city or HMP&L, and they're going to continue to make strides in that progress. In terms of I-69, 2nd Street roundabouts right out here, the lane closures should lessen significantly by the time school starts. They have a few kind of final touches they're going to finish up there. The whole project on 2nd Street with the roundabouts and bridge painting, they told me it should be ready by the end of August. We're looking at the 60 roundabouts, the roundabouts on US 60. Those should be done by about the end of September. The 60 interchange, the new interchange right where the roundabouts are going to be, sometime in mid-fall. So that means by the time mid-fall to early winter hits, we should be able to drive north on what used to be 41, and where that bypass hits, you can take that all the way over to US 60. Not beyond that, because there's not currently a road there beyond that, but you can take that on into that interchange for ease of sake. And then Section 2, which will be awarded next fall. Construction of that should start late next year, early the year after. When I say Section 2, that means the span that's going to be built from US 60 to where the new bridge is going to go. And then when we get to the new bridge and they're able to award that, that'll be about a 3.5-year build-out. Should be ready between 2030 and 2031. Other projects that are going on, we've got the Clay Street Bridge project, and we've got the Airline Road Bridge project. Both of those, the contractors say that they're going to be ready before school starts. I'm going to be a little bit more generous with the timeline there. The Airline Road Bridge seems like it's on pace, could require an extra week or two. They were put behind because of a very wet July that we've all been dealing with. Same thing on Clay Street Bridge. It would not surprise me to see that go until about the end of August, but they are still targeting the beginning of August before school starts for that project to be complete. We'll see how that one unfolds. The 41 strip paving the target originally was the end of July, and they should be close to hitting that. They're throwing new pavement on the strip pretty quick. And they're working at night, thank goodness. We've been talking to them for a long time about working projects like that at night, and we're very blessed that we've got someone in place who is doing that. We've got a new fire station we just broke ground on just up the street. That should be ready by early 2027. We're hoping to have that ready months before that, but we give ourselves a little bit of lead time in case there are any anomalies that show up with construction. Watson Lane project, speaking of anomalies that show up with construction. They're working on the driveways now. They should then transition to finishing the curb, and then they're going to start laying the top coat of pavement out there. They still are targeting about mid-August. Might spill over into the 3rd or 4th week of August, but that one is still on their new revised timeline. Should be done by about the mid to end of August there. And then the Green River Road sidewalks, if you travel that way and you started seeing yards being dug up there, They are heavy into it. It should take about 6 to 8 weeks. We're looking about the end of September to provide sidewalks to people who need to walk to Bengate School or to need to walk on the side of the road for other reasons. A few other notes for infrastructure, just real quick. We're in the second year at the city for a new 10% compounding increase in how much we budget for road maintenance. And it's important that we're doing that because we remain stagnant for a long period of time, and then, of course, we went through an inflationary period. We don't want to fall behind. Roads is one of the most core things that we do for our citizens at the city, roads and public safety, things like that. And so we want to make sure that we catch up to and then surpass inflation. And this is part of a 5-year increase program. Each year for the next 3 years after this, we'll increase our budgeted amount to go toward roads and road repairs by 10% compounding each year. The boat docks out on 3rd Street, they have this year, when we've seen so much rain and the river levels have been pretty high, we've seen that we don't have a very reliable boat dock system to get in place on time. And so over the next year, our people are going to be working with the Corps of Engineers to see what we can do to help with that, to see if there are more levels that we can hook onto the boat docks, to see if we can come up with a floating system, but something to accommodate our boaters who, whenever Memorial Day hits, they expect to go out and be able to access the river and use that boat dock, and we really want to be able to deliver that for them. And then also I want to call on our Public Works Department and our city management. Over the next year, we need to come up with a concrete street improvement plan. We've got a number of streets in this community that are concrete, and typically those people like them because they last so long, and so it makes it seem like they're cheaper to deal with, but when it comes time to replace them, they're much more expensive to replace. And so we are going to be taking a look at the next year about getting extremely serious about taking care of some of our concrete streets that are in neighborhoods that haven't been addressed for a long time, because we really need those streets to be in good repair for you guys. Next up, we've got a dream of better housing. We've got a number of things that are going on because of you and because of so many people in the room in terms of housing. This Jago development that we've got that is well underway, they had, it was supposed to be a couple of years down the road, they were going to take a look at phase 2 as a 2-phase project. And it's going to end up with 300 houses out there, but they are so far ahead of schedule, those talks are probably going to happen next year. They're doing really good, and people are really, really wanting to move to Henderson, which is exciting for me. Julie Wisher and the folks at Elevate, you've probably heard by now, they're doing a huge project with 48 units that are going to accommodate people with disabilities, especially ones who need work with independent living skills and who might be subject to experience housing insecurity. And so they're well underway on a groundbreaking on that. We are also working to call on our codes department and our planning commission to look at something that we haven't concertedly looked at in a long time. And that is, we do a great job of working with people to have them adhere to the codes that we require as a city. But one thing we haven't done is really taken a good, thorough look at what we're requiring of people via our codes as they compare to other cities. We had an issue, or 3 issues earlier on with sidewalks this year. With parking spots this year. So people came, and there was one gentleman who wanted to open a laundromat. And we require 1 parking spot for every set of machines. And then he brought in some other cities who require 1 parking spot for every 6 machines, for example. His development would have worked if the codes were a little different. And so some of these codes that we have, or some of these rules that we have that have been hanging out there for a decade or 2, or in some case 3 or 4, we want to take a good concerted look at those to make sure that what we're requiring of people matches the 2025 year that we're living in. And then one other project related to housing, we just signed a new agreement with Habitat for Humanity. The city, on a yearly basis, we budget about $50,000 a year to deal with blight, specifically focused in the inner city. Because of this partnership with Habitat for Humanity, we are going to put up $100,000 a year for 5 years. They are going to match our $100,000 a year for 5 years. And so for a 5-year period of time, instead of having $250,000 going toward blight, we're going to have $1 million going toward blight over that 5-year period of time. And that is going to help with housing, because not only will we be eliminating blight, but we'll be opening up lots to build on, to build affordable houses on, which is sorely needed in this community, and accelerate the number that we're able to develop. So speaking of the inner city, we also have a dream for a better inner city. It's very tempting to look at the inner city improvement plan and only give credit for the things that you can see with your own eyes that have been done. But I wanted to take this opportunity to let you know there's much more going on than just flower pots and trash cans that we put out. We have got a number of projects, including the first one that we tackled was the tax moratorium. We used to have it for downtown. Now we have it for the entire city. If you own a building or investing in a building that's 25 years or older, you get a 5-year, you can qualify if you apply and go through the process. 5-year tax moratorium on the improvements for the building. So you would only pay taxes on the assessed value that you bought the building at, and you get 5 years to not have that count against you if you're wanting to redevelop a property. We have flock cameras. Flock cameras are the cameras that capture license plate information. Helped us in 2 cases with escaped convicts. It helped us track them down and catch escaped convicts because of ones that were placed near the highway. We've expanded that to the inner city at their request. That was the #1 voted project from the first year. So now we have 7 additional flock cameras in the inner city area, which makes it much more likely that if you're in the inner city in Henderson and you commit a crime, that you're going to get caught. And that goes a long way toward public safety. We have a number of doorbell cameras that were purchased. The police department's going to be working on getting those out to the residents in exchange for the free doorbell camera and installation. An agreement would be signed to share information with the police department if there were an incident in the area, which helps improve safety. Another one was a hero project. So we purchased a house. It's on Letcher Street. And that house will be used for the HERO project, which stands for Henderson Encouraging Resident Officers. And this was a brainchild of Steve Gold. The doorbell camera is a brainchild of Herbie McKee. But the HERO project, we're going to fix up a house and provide it for little or no cost to an entry-level police officer for his or her first and second year on the force. And what that does is help us build the pipeline to supply the pipeline for police officers and get closer to fuller complement. But it also places people in an area where they're going to be policing, which helps strengthen community policing policies. Speaking of Letcher Street, we have acquired a number of properties on Letcher Street between Washington and Powell Street. There's an area that used to be a thriving business community there that now is just a reminder of what that used to be. We have purchased that with the express intent of partnering with somebody private, redesigning that area, and bringing back a number of small business fronts on that particular street to provide a business hub for people who would like to open small businesses in our inner city. We're looking at building a multi-sport court as a result of the first year of the program over at Newman Park. Anthony Brooks Park, I'm really excited about this one because not only are we going to be able to redevelop a park that sorely needs it, but we're going to be able to do that for almost no city tax dollars, for up to a $500,000 makeover for that particular project. We applied a couple of years ago for a land and water grant that was awarded to us for $245,000. The state also has a matching program called the Grant Program. We applied for them to match that grant so that we didn't have to, and were awarded another $240,000 out of that. And so look for next year us to finally be able, because we'll have the money in place by then, to kick off a major overhaul of that particular park, including some splash pads, outdoor bathrooms, a significant upgrade to play equipment. There's a business incentive program that Missy Vanderpool, Adam Blythe, myself, and Scott Davis have started working on in the past 2 weeks. And what this will hopefully look like in the end is it's going to be a forgivable loan program to people who would like to open up small businesses in the inner city. At Scott's suggestion, I think we might actually be reaching out to some banks here locally to see if they would like to match the money the city is going to put up so that we can develop this robust program to provide business incentive money in the form of forgivable loans to people who would like to open up small businesses specifically in the inner city. And then also as a result of that meeting, we're also talking about alongside that, creating sort of a small business college type deal for people to obtain that loan. They would have to go through the small business college type setting and learn more about opening a business and sustaining a business and things like that. And then, as I mentioned right before this slide, was the Habitat Blight Elimination Program. So as you can see, there are millions of dollars, tons of people involved. There have been over 200 to 300 people involved in the program the first 2 years. We're in year 3, and it's leading to some significant change in the inner city. And we'll continue to do so over time. We're also striving for better communication in the inner city. So we're also striving for better communication with the city. We've got a number of things that we've done this year. Holly Blanford, our public relations director, she does a program and champions a program called the Junior Ambassador Program. We got 12 people going through it this year. I think it might be year 3, I think, that we're heading into for the Junior Ambassador Program. They meet once a month, learn all about the city. They get a trip to Frankfurt and get to connect with our state legislators. It's a really big hit, and usually there are way more people who apply for the program than we're able to accept. We also started a new podcast this year. If you haven't heard or listened to the podcast, it's called Municipal Matters. And so if you go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever you use and just search the words Municipal Matters, it will most likely be the only podcast of that nature that shows up. We've got 8 episodes out there. We do them once a month, and we talk much more in depth about things that are going on in the city. And so if you want to learn more about Sports Complex or Conference Center or the Inner City Improvement Plan, or the next show we're going to tape is going to be all about Henderson Leadership Initiative. If you want to learn more about those and you enjoy listening to podcasts, that's another avenue for you to go. We do a mock city government with all of our area 5th graders each year. And all the area 5th graders come in. We let them elect their own mayor. We teach them about elections. We teach them about city government. We have a city commission standing up there that's formed of the kids in those classes. And then we walk them through issues that we deal with and let them vote on them and learn about city government. Police and fire have done a couple of things at the high school that's really fantastic. We now have a law enforcement pathway and a fire science pathway there at the high school. Thank you, Bob, and the people at the school for working with us on that. And we've had a number of people in there, and that is a way that they can ensure that their future pipelines are always going to be replenished by reaching the kids who might have an interest in becoming a police officer or a firefighter in this community. Our social media reach since Holly has started has increased by over 500%. And we have been pumping out information on construction updates, all of our meeting posts, and just random information that comes along about things that we're doing at the city. If you're not following us on Facebook and or Instagram, please consider going to the City of Henderson, Kentucky pages and doing so. And then something we started recently, Commissioner Nick Witt and I started with the Wathen Lane Project. We printed out 1,000 door knockers, is what we call them in politics, but door hangers or flyers, and went around into every residence over there who was affected by the Wathen Lane Project. We left an informational flyer to let them know that, yeah, we're way behind on this project because of X, Y, and Z, but this is the updated timeline, and this is what you can expect. And we've kind of latched onto that because city management liked that style. And for the Green River Road sidewalks, they printed out door knockers and left some really good informational door knockers for the Green River Road sidewalk project so that people who are impacted will know what's going on in and around their area. We also dream of a better quality of life here in Henderson. Of course, we just opened the new sports complex. As of right now, and actually it was as of last week, and so I haven't gotten an update if there are any more, but as of last week, it's July 2025. We already have 16 tournaments booked at the sports complex for next year. Each one of those tournaments brings in an average of 30 teams, and there is so much going on around that sports complex. There are still issues that we need to work out. There are issues with as far as accommodating our local leagues and local kids, while at the same time trying to bring in tourism dollars. That's a big shift from the way that we've always done things in Henderson. But that sports complex is so beautiful, it's really going to be a great thing for us. An update on the Conference Center. We have a memorandum of agreement assigned with the state. The city is contributing $2.7 million. The county is contributing $2.5 million, so a total of $5.2 from our local community. And this is going to go toward a $17 million project to bring in a new conference center at Audubon State Park, and also bring in a new road that comes from Audubon State Park, goes behind the hotels, and connects to Watson Lane. Right now, they've got RFPs, requests for proposals, that are out. Then we will start looking at the design for the winner of that and then bid that out. We should be headed toward a groundbreaking realistically by about the summer of next year. So about the summer of next year, we should be breaking ground on that. And they believe it'll be about a year and a half build out on that project. So look for more updates next year. Andrew Powell and Meredith Powell and a number of people have invested in a new bourbon distillery that's going to go down on the river right adjacent to our downtown. They are going to do a pre-release in August, right? Yeah, in August of some of the bourbon. And then hopefully by the end of the year, assuming that all of their contractor work lines up, they'll be open by the end of the year. Could be on into next spring, but hopefully by the end of the year is what the wish is for there. That's going to bring in over 30,000 unique visitors to the city of Henderson on a yearly basis. I know that sounds like a lot, but that's less than 100 a day. But there's going to be a lot of people who come to Henderson specifically to visit that facility. And then we're wrapping up a Parks Master Plan. Our Parks Master Plan will be finished in about October, and that's where we're taking an intentional look at all of our parks in Henderson to make sure that we're servicing kids of all ages and not just kids who are 5 to 10 years old. We do a good job with a lot of our park equipment of reaching kids who are 5 to 10. And once they reach a certain age or certain height, they become disinterested in what we offer. And so we're looking at offering things that reach kids of older ages, that could reach adults, and that can reimagine what we're going to do with Atkinson Pool, for example, which is close to the end of its useful life. So now, just want to, if I could get you guys to come up just for a second. I want to tell a personal story and then show you a 5-minute video, and then we're going to transition over to the county. So as Corey said, I started working, here I can help. I started working in Henderson in, thank you. There we go. So I started working in Henderson in 1999. But I want to go back a little bit farther and tell you a little bit about my personal story. And so I grew up with my mom and my sister in Madisonville, Kentucky. From the age of when I was born to maybe about 10 years old, I can remember living in 4 different trailers, 3 different apartments, and we didn't grow up with very much at all. And I'm fortunate to have had a really good mother who ushered us through a time in our lives where we didn't have a whole lot. Some years we had to have people who were dressed up as Santa Claus and Christmas trees come deliver gifts to us at our house. But because of my mom, honestly, I was able to succeed in school growing up, and went to college at Western Kentucky University with a full ride and so many other scholarships that they were paying me to go to school, and it was a really good situation. And then I realized what it was like to be an 18 or 19-year-old kid without a mother at your house. There's lots of temptations at college that you can fall prey to. And so I left Western after 2 years with a 1.9 GPA. And I made a mockery of my life for about 2 years. Went back to Madisonville, got into the community college and kind of got my life back together a little bit. And I started working in Henderson in 1999. At Gibbs Die Casting. I worked there for 7 years. In 2003, I moved to Henderson. And Henderson is really a place that allowed me to get my life back on track. Started going to USI, graduated there with 3.9, and ended up where I'm at today. Mayor, have a wonderful family. My wife has a great career. We've got 2 wonderful kids in the school system. Just love Henderson. Mom moved up here from Madisonville. And so we really do believe that Henderson is a place where dreams can come true. But it's not just me who believes that. And so now I'd like to introduce you to a few other folks who also believe that Henderson is a place where your dreams can come true.
Henderson is such a unique place where you can live your life and raise your family, and so that's what makes me love Henderson.
Henderson's been extremely accepting of me. I mean, so good to me and my family. Met my bride here. We get to dream big together.
I didn't realize how special Henderson was until I started working
city and county and all those stakeholders to make those dreams come true is really something special here in Henderson.
I'm super proud. Where I'm at, my kids were born and raised here. They're proud to say they're Henderson.
We want Henderson to be the best Henderson can possibly be, for us to leave for our children one day. The East End and the inner city are so rich in history, and we just want to honor that and to be able to bring back home ownership to the East.
Henderson has just reached this point where we're just really rolling. And we're so excited about that. And River River is just another piece of that puzzle.
Like we offer baseball, softball. We also have football, soccer, multi-purpose turf field. We have roughly 30 teams each tournament, so we're bringing in people from far and near, being able to help stimulate Henderson, push people downtown, and that's all just added benefit.
So LA State came about as a dream after COVID. I knocked on the door of the mayor, the county judge, the city commission, the magistrate, the human rights commission, anyone and everyone. Not one person said, you shouldn't do this here. Not one person said this is going to be too hard. Every person, every step of the way, was excited. I was encouraged to apply for a Habitat home. I never had a home of my own, and that has been my one ongoing dream for many, many years.
We figured it was a win-win project to partner with the city and create this blind affordable housing initiative. Reading the inner city, applying to dilapidated properties and placing them in safe, new, affordable houses, and that's the goal.
We found even the green space, just makes the whole neighborhood smile and just kind of, brings that lot back to life. While it's laying down, the house built on it.
My goal for this town and this dream is that my grandkids will bring their kids down here to take photos and have those lifelong memories for years to come.
Well, we just celebrated 2024, exactly 150 years here at Greater North Chapel. And a lot of great people have come out of this congregation. We're hopeful that we will always remain where we are in the community. And having a good shape for the next generation that's coming behind us. The same foundation that we were raised upon, you take that same foundation and you go, you take it out.
So my encouragement to anybody that wants to do something in Henderson is just to pursue it.
We are a very giving community. We rally behind the underdog. We're very good at that. And to be able to create something that's bigger than any one of us, I don't think we could have gotten this far this quick without a community that supports us.
And to know that that will continue with my son, and he can be proud to say, yes, this is where I come from, and this is what I stand for, and this is my community that really shaped me into who I am. That makes me really proud.
Have a place to call home, H-O-M-E, and loud in big capital letters is so important to a lot of people who may not even think at first that that's possible for them. But don't ever give up your dream. This is my biggest dream, and it has come true.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the state of our city. Don't be afraid to dream big. Thank you.
I think if I'm right, Judge, we have a video we're playing for the county first, and then we'll give you an introduction there.
with not only our utility partners, city and county, but our school system, and it takes all those people working together for us to have a successful project. And I always say economic development's a team sport, and Henderson just happens to have the best team there is. The thing that people don't understand is all the work that has to go into getting a site ready for attraction. We always tell everybody we're really fortunate in Henderson to have county leadership, not only in the judge, but with the fiscal court, that understand economic development. Not every community has that, and we're so fortunate to have that. It makes a big difference. 70 to 80% of a community's growth actually comes from within, from our existing industries. So while we've talked a lot about industry attraction, I think it's very important to know that we're very fortunate in Henderson to have Whitney at the helm working with our existing industries. And also, we have the densest manufacturing population in the state of Kentucky per capita.
We have great partners with our Henderson school system and really try to build those relatable skills that they're learning in the classroom to get to see it hands-on in a manufacturer. And we're very privileged to have such a partnership with the schools, and the manufacturers are willing to open their doors and let students get to see that. And so that's always the best day in a workforce and economic development world, to see the product that you got to put out and connecting the workforce to the manufacturers.
You know, the job of animal control officer can be a thankless one, but it's important. You protect people and protect the well-being of the animals they encounter. J.J. Moore is one of our animal control officers, and he'd tell you they get a lot more calls than just about dogs. Sometimes it's about squirrels in the attic.
There's a hole on the outside of my apartment building, and there's a family of squirrels that have made that their home. Who do I call to get rid of them? What do I do?
Well, we do have a person in Henderson County that does come out and track wildlife.
And let me look around, and I appreciate your help.
Yes, ma'am. You have a good day. Thank you. Righty, go take a run. We get a lot of calls all over the county because there's only 3 of us, and we got the entire county, and we get probably, I don't know, anywhere, 5 to 20 calls a day? I'm just fortunate enough, I got a team around me with these guys that they believe in the same thing. They really do. I love it. I love what I do. I want to make it good. I want to make it good for this whole county. I want the public to be able to trust me that I make the right decision, and they can call on me without having to worry about a fine or going to jail in some instances, that they can believe that I make the right decision based on what I see. We pick and choose our battles because of our facility being full. If my facility wasn't as full, I could do a lot more. I could take a lot more dogs in on surrenders. I could take a lot more dogs in on cruelty type things, but whether it be minor or major. Of course, all tortures and most of the time all heavy cruelties, I will seize their dogs. So evidently they have dogs here that are terrorizing the neighborhood when they're tired. I hear about 4 little dogs. How are you? Well, my name is John Moore. I'm Officer Moore. I'm with Animal Control. This is Officer Heron right here. And we have gotten a complaint that your dogs are kind of enticing and running after some neighbors. Is that true, baby?
Yes, when we let them out to potty at night, especially the little boy.
Because we're just trying to go over a little bit of stuff with you. You have to maintain your dogs on your property at all times, okay? We're going to take the complaint, we're going to write it down, and we're going to keep it, okay, in our system. And if we get another complaint call, it could result in a citation that you have to go to court for your dogs running at large. Of course, we're not going to do that unless it's a signed complaint or we have some evidence, okay? If you're going to keep the dogs, it's a federal law that we have to enforce the rabies shot. So if you got rabies shots on the dogs, that's great. We just have to see the proof of it, and you have to get city and county tags on the dog. Miss Margaret, you've been the most kindest person that I've ran across in so long, and I appreciate your open honesty with me about everything. There's never nothing to hide, and we're here to help you. 10 days to get those rabies shots and come to the Humane Society with the proof of them, and then get your city and county tags.
Gotcha.
Thank you, ma'am. the biggest part about animal control is a lot of people don't know about it. They don't know we exist. They don't know when their dog is a stranger to come call us first. We probably got it. Or somebody brought it to us. We make it as easy as we can for them by putting them all online, putting them on the Humane Society website, putting them on our website, telling the public to share it. We can't do it all. We can't save them all. But we can be there to try to help save them all. The ones we get called about anyway.
Road Supervisor Bobby Proctor's job description doesn't always entail flood relief, but for him, the high waters of this past April were personal. He helped neighbors and friends in Green Beals get over that terrible natural disaster.
We're headed over to one of the flood areas we worked in back in April. It was heavy flood damage in the area. But the rising water, it don't hurt us too bad. It's when it's receding, it gets current in it. That's when it goes cutting, and cut holes in the roads, washed out around pipes, washed debris up in the road, and pile it up. Then we have to get heavy equipment in to remove all the debris out of the road to get us through the on the road. I've been here 22 years, and this was the worst flood I've ever experienced. They said it was the worst one since 1997. Like crossing the bridge right here, I can watch the dam and tell about when it's going to jump the banks. And that kind of gives me a heads up where I can start getting feed in and get the supplies up, so be a little more prepared for it. I'd say after this flood, a lot of people left during the flood, and I don't look forward to returning. Missed a couple days of work because the current in old US 60 was so strong you couldn't even get out on a four-wheeler without getting washed away. Yeah, I could have missed more, but you know, there ain't no use sitting there watching water race. Just work and try to carry your normal life on and move on from that point. You can fight Mother Nature, but you can't win.
You know, the impacts of the flood didn't end when the water went back in its banks. In many ways, our emergency management team, Kenny Garrett, Joe Ward, are still battling to help the people who were impacted by that horrible natural disaster. For them, the battle to bounce back is still going on.
January started out as an ice storm. And in February, we had another flood. And then we had severe weather in March. And then we had another flood in April. So our office has been going strong since prior to the first of the year. Flooding is the #1 source of all kinds of issues throughout the country. We know when the river gauge hits 44 feet over in Evansville, Highway 60 is going to get shut down every evening. We know that. So whenever the forecast says 46 feet or 47 feet, then we know we've got a problem coming, and we're ready for it when it gets here. Trying to get it back to normal has really been the focus for us. We're 2 to 3 years away from that happening for a lot of these families that still don't have a house to live in.
And it's not about how many inches were in there in all cases. It's about how long the water sat. So when we initially did our damage assessment with FEMA, inches of rain that was minor became major because of how long it sat. So like I said, minor damage went to major and major went to destroyed. Like this house right here, it got just shy of a foot of water inside. Therefore, when they tried to do their cleanup, it had already saturated so high into the walls and up to the ceiling. So that's where, again, minor went to major, major went to destroyed. We went from 300 homes that had been affected in some way. Once they got in and registered with KYEM and then with FEMA, we had about 770 homes that we canvassed.
We're still here. We're still going to be helping them out as much as we can with through our long-term recovery group processes.
Everywhere we go, we have to be a life vest in some way, shape, or form. So whether it's tornado aftermath, preparation, floods, like I said, we're a life vest. And that's 24/7.
So there you go. Important stories to tell. Really illustrates how the people who work for Henderson County government and the people who work with us care about their jobs and care about the people of this community, even if the work they do sometimes happens out of the limelight. State of the county is strong, and you have strong people working to make life better. Thanks for riding along.
Great stuff out of our county government. The ordination for Judge Schneider. Brad Schneider was first elected Henderson County Judge in 2016 and again in 18 and 22. Schneider came to county government after spending previous 2+ years as the CEO of Kendall. Before the creation of Kendall, Schneider led the Henderson County Chamber of Commerce for 5 years and was named the Chamber Executive of the Year for 2015. As a graduate of the University of Evansville, Schneider spent more than 20 years in journalism before being named the president of the chamber in 2009. He's a founding board member of BridgeLink. He serves on the boards for the Henderson Economic Development, Henderson Cooperative Extension, Henderson Farm Bureau, the Henderson Leadership Initiative, the Green River Area Development District, and the West Kentucky Coalition. As well, at the state level, he serves on Kentuckians for Better Transportation, the Kentucky County Judge Executive Association, Kentucky Coal, and Kentucky Mineral Coalition. Schneider's married to Kelly Blanford, a Henderson native and CEO of Easter Seals in Evansville. They have 2 sons, Ben and Nicholas, and are members of Holy Name Parish, and a new grandson not that long ago, right? Please welcome Judge Schneider. Thanks, sir. Absolutely.
In the spirit of county and city cooperation, the mayor's going to help me move this podium over. Another round of applause for our mayor. That's collaborative right there. Thank you to the Chamber for hosting this every year. I think it is important. Good job, Mayor Staten. That was a really interesting presentation. A lot going on. Thanks to all of you attendees. Thanks to my wife. It's always fun when we're in the same room. That's nice, isn't it, sometimes? And as a Lion, speaking on behalf of all Lions, to our little cousins at Rotary, you're so cute. Keep it up. And thank you all. And I think the folks who were featured in that video are with us today. Missy Vanderpool, Whitney Risley, J.J. Moore, Bobby Proctor, Kenny Garrett, and Jill Ward. Would you all please stand up and thank them for being good sports about that? You know, we appreciate you indulging us over the last couple years with these videos created by the ultra-talented Darren Fagley, by the way. They highlight the people who work on the front lines for and with county government, and they're much more interesting and entertaining than a policy speech, more memorable too. And it's because of them and the hard work of our other team members that we can repeat again that the state of the county is strong. We continue to see growing opportunities, new growth, more capital investment and optimism both in the city and in the county, even as we have dealt with natural disasters, political unrest in Washington, shifting economies, and debates here at home that have been a little divisive. We believe Henderson County government has played a significant role in that progress. And after our team members, that positive influence can be attributed to the community-focused leadership of our elected officials and department heads, including Magistrates Butch Putman, Bill Starks, Tim Southard, Taylor Tompkins, and Keith Barry, County Attorney Steve Gold, Sheriff Chip Stauffer, County Clerk Renisa Abner, Jailer Bruce Todd, Coroner Sheila Patterson, and County Engineer Nick Stallings. And, you know, we also appreciate our brother from another mother, Andrew Powell. Thank you very much, Andrew. That is truly a lineup of all-stars. And would you all please stand, and with all of our county team members who are with us today, please all stand up. Let's give them a big round of applause. Go ahead, guys, stand up. Special shout out to my team at the judge's office. Love you all. Thank you for being here. You know, since this event last year, great things continue to happen in Henderson County. Our economic development efforts continue to notch wins. As you may have heard, we just cut the ribbon on the Henderson County Mine, which is eventually going to add 240 new jobs, more than 400 total jobs here, which will eventually lead to $300 million in economic impact here every year. Tyson Foods, one of the county's largest employers, just announced a $23.5 million investment in their plant here, solidifying its future. And that only adds to the $1 billion in public and private investment that are happening right now in our city and county. Major multi-million-dollar improvements are happening at our airport and our river port, and we really appreciate the leadership of Emily Herron and Ben Weithman. Thank you. We've made important investments in tools, resources, training, wages, and benefits for our county team members who use those skills and expertise to serve us all. We budgeted more than $1 million for roads and paved more than 14 miles in the last year, including several roads that have been asphalt but are now asphalt for the first time. Gravel to asphalt for the first time. We're building the first permanent bathrooms at Sandy Watkins Park, which may not sound sexy, but if you ever took your kids out there and looking square to Porta-John, it's a big upgrade. We've replaced old bridges, upgraded equipment at our recycling center, and committed the first installment of $1.5 million to help the Henderson County Water District solve major leak problem. In the coming year, we plan to add another $1.5 million to that Water District's project. We've set aside $2.5 million, as the mayor said, for the Audubon State Park Conference Center. We budgeted $400,000 to help with a grain bin training facility that'll help first responders do a better job of helping people caught in grain bins. We're doing that hopefully in partnership with our Henderson Fire Department team and all the volunteer fire departments in the county. We will help the 9/11 Dispatch Center upgrade its technology and help build the first Habitat house constructed outside the city limits of Henderson in recent memory. And we're soon going to make a decision about the expansion of our detention center. We can do all that without hesitation because we are in the position to do so. Compass Municipal Advisors is a public finance firm that works with many county and city governments across Kentucky, and in their estimation, reviewing our audits and financial statements, Henderson County is among the top 10% of counties in the Commonwealth for relative financial strength, on a par with much larger communities such as Warren County and Boone County. Among peer counties of similar size, we are top 1%. We have no debt, and our reserve funds now total more than 100% of annual operating expenses. Due to that and other factors, in the coming months, we'll be taking a hard look at cutting our insurance premium tax in half. And we have more analysis to do, but that new rate could be effective as soon as the 2026-2027 fiscal year, and such a rate cut would save local residents who pay that tax a total of $2 million. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. As you all know, we've had an issue arise in the last 2 years that have been very controversial, drawn strong opinions on both sides of our quality of life and public safety, created division and caused a lot of serious accusations to be thrown around, including some aimed squarely at me. And of course, you know what I'm talking about. Roundabouts. I know. Change is hard. We'll get through it. Trust me. But in all seriousness, in the current debate about wind turbines and renewable energy projects, all the members of Fiscal Court have stayed focused on one goal, and that's fairness. And by being fair, we mean treating those developments in the same way any other business would be treated that might want to locate here. No more, no less. Following the same rules, the same processes, the same opportunities to state their case in public hearings and afford others a chance to offer their opinions as well. Whatever the result of that process is in the end, with all considerations taken into account, so be it. As long as it was conducted fairly, without any predetermined bias and by the letter of the law. If it were your business, you would want to be treated that way, correct? And that's what our community expects, and that's what it must demand. Now, we shouldn't downplay people's feelings, but emotion can bring out the worst in us. It is also true that in difficult situations, it can be revealing of the best in us. And the flood showed me that, the true Henderson County. Neighbors helping neighbors, strangers coming to the aid of those in need. I draw hope and inspiration from folks such as Jonathan Emblett and the members of the Reed Volunteer Fire Department, the first responders from all over the county and city who helped. Smith Mills Chief Mike Coghill, sitting in his car for hours, days, watching over the flood cleanup supplies trailer at Beals, adjusting his oxygen tubes with one hand and smoking a cigarette in the other. I think of folks going above and beyond like Supermom, Kelsey Johnston of United Way of Henderson County, Red Cross volunteers all over the country, Christian Community Outreach, For Good Community, the Salvation Army, church groups, sheriff's deputies, and our road department crews who spent weeks helping with debris removal and trying to cheer up the folks who would show up at our dump sites with half the walls in their homes saturated, destroyed, and piled up in the trailers they were pulling. The spirit of community that I saw, that concern for others and the willingness to help, to do whatever it takes to give those experiencing their worst days the hope that there are better days to come, that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I so firmly believe that the state of Henderson County is strong. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name's Clay Gillum. I'm the executive director of the Chamber, and I'm the only thing that's left between you all and getting back to work. So I will keep it brief. I've really enjoyed today. I hope that you all have. Hope that you've gained something, learned something, maybe even felt something about your hometown, about Henderson. The Chamber's been hosting this event, as both the mayor and judge alluded to, for quite some time. And slowly, over my 3.5 years at the Chamber, I've kind of gotten the lore of, you know, how it got started and why it's on Thursday and why it's an important event for us. And so as I started to think about how to close this out today, I kind of reflected back on that. And why is this event still important? Why is it still important to the Chamber? And, you know, we've let a few events go in the last year. Why is this one that we want to make sure remains a signature event? And so I thought about those of you that would be in the room today, the businesses that would be represented here, the civic organizations, the civil servants, the nonprofits, the elected officials, and kind of what is the common denominator among us. And I think that we organized this event because at the Chamber we understand that for Henderson to become the next great version of itself, it takes all of us. It can't be a few select few. It can't only be our leaders. It takes everybody in this room. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you for investing your time in an event like this. We won't always see eye to eye on every issue, and that's okay. I think to advance business and unite community, little plug for Henderson Chamber's mission, we need Henderson to be three things. We need Hendersonians to be educated on the issues, educated on who your leaders are, educated on how you can make your own voice be heard, and what your path forward is. Second, we want our community members to be invested. Now is not the time to sit on the sidelines. We all get to be a part of crafting the future of Henderson County and the city of Henderson. Whether that means serving on a nonprofit board, whether that means running for a local office, whether that means volunteering for a festival, whether that means opening your own small business and becoming an entrepreneur, we get so much further, so much faster if all of our community members are invested, if we're bought in, if we see the vision together. It's kind of strange that I did not know what either of these gentlemen were going to talk about today, and a lot of that got woven into why this event is important, and I think that's a testament to what the event is about, getting us all on the same page to get that vision together. The third thing, we want Henderson to be connected. We want Hendersonians to be connected. We want community members to feel like they're part of something, like they know who to call, like they can uncover opportunities that are ripe for collaboration. and feel supported in bringing their vision to life here. So bearing all that in mind, and on the note of connection, I want to just wrap this up with one little whimsical note. If you'll indulge me, I'm 35 and a business professional, and what that means is I've gotten really into ChatGPT in the last 2 years. And so as I was starting to kind of put my thoughts together for today, I asked my friend ChatGPT, knowing everything you know about Henderson and everything you can find online and everything that we've talked about in our long discussions, what are 4 or 5 words that you would use to describe the Henderson business community? And I kind of loved what she came up with. She's a she, obviously. Number 1, loyal. Many local businesses have deep generational roots, strong ties to each other in the community. They show up, reinvest, and support local causes, even if they're not flashy about it. I think that's pretty true. Number 2 is practical. Henderson businesses tend to be grounded. They value efficiency, relationship-based decision-making, and a clear ROI. There's less appetite for buzzwords, more for real solutions. Number 3, evolving. Love that one. There's a shift happening. There are new leaders taking place. I know the mayor talked about all of the new positions that folks are holding. More women at the table. Whoop. Younger entrepreneurs entering the fold. Legacy industries are still dominant, but they're being nudged towards innovation and inclusion. And number 4, this is the last one. Nope, sorry, it's not. There are 5. Number 4, collaborative. This is not a cutthroat market. Business owners tend to share resources, share advice, share referrals. They prefer partnership over competition when possible, especially through the chamber. She knows where I work. Number 5 is undersung. I don't know how I forgot that one. It was my favorite. There is more excellence here than the outsiders might expect, from manufacturers to creatives to service providers, but many fly under the radar, either by choice or by lack of exposure. And to that I say, challenge accepted. Last thing, and I promise before we go, a little bit lighter note, but I cannot leave the stage without plugging our biggest event of the year. The Chamber will be hosting its annual dinner on September 22nd at the Henderson City County Airport. We are having dinner in a hangar, people. Please be there. We would love to welcome you. We'll have it'll be a great night. We'll have a great speaker we'll be announcing in mid-August. We would love for all of you to be there. We would love for your businesses to be there, and we would love to see you there. Thank you to our sponsors, especially Chase Fulcher with Best Insured. Nothing we do is possible without that support. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for those of you who are catching it online. We appreciate you. Have a great afternoon and be safe.